we mentioned Mount Hermon, and I wanted to. I think I have 2 bullet points out of order, so I want to do the Mount Hermon one first. So, um, there's the story in Matthew where he's at Caesarea Philippi, and so you mind if I share? I'm going to share another picture. So this is an actual picture, not just that digital form. So if you look at this, this is Mount Hermon. You see where it's where it's at, and you see Caesarea Philippi and that little circle. It says, and the sacred cave. And then you got the Nimrod's fortress. We don't exactly know. They know various different iterations. It probably started around 200 or 300 years BCE. So that's been there a while. It was not always called Nimrod's fortress, but it's just something interesting that it's called Nimrod's fortress, and we're talking about giants and Mount Hermon and its relationship, and that this is the land of Bashan, where Caesarea Philippi is. So once again, this is the place where Og, king of Bashan, ruled, and this is the Greek city that was made at the bottom of Mount Hermon. All right, so I am going to. So that little circle that says sacred cave, this next picture is the sacred cave that we're talking about. So this is the ruins that you see there. This is the grotto of Pan. I don't really like this 3D stuff, but it was the only picture that really saw this this watery cave that's at the foot of Mount Hermon. And they believe that this was a gateway to the underworld, and this was built to the god Pan, right, in Caesarea Philippi. Okay, so in Matthew, let's see. Let me go back to our notes. All right, so I can stop sharing there. There we go. All right, so back to our notes. In Matthew 16, 13 through 20, you have the story where Jesus travels to Caesarea Philippi, and he's sitting with his disciples, and he says, who do other people say that I am? Well, some the prophet, some Elijah, some this. Well, who do you say that I am? Well, you're the Son of God, Peter responds. And Jesus' response to Peter is, blessed are you, Peter, for only the Father could reveal that to you. And I will call you, Petros, because upon this Petros, may have gotten those backwards, I will build my church. Where's he at? He's at Caesarea Philippi. He's looking at the grotto of Pan. He's talking to Peter, who just said, no, you're the Son of God. So humans have recognized that he's the Son of God. And he's saying, upon this Petros, this cliff, you're a boulder, but upon this cliff face, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. What's at Caesarea Philippi? A gateway to the underworld, Hades. He's pointing it out right there. All right. So right after that, it says, from this point forward, he talked to them about his coming death. Right. And that's where 5 verses later, Peter's like, Lord, let it never be. And that's when Jesus goes, get behind me, Satan. Satan, you're thinking of the things of men and not the things of God. The war on the giants has to continue. We have to finish this job, right? Okay. So it says that 6 days later, they climbed a very high mountain. So if we go back to that first one that I presented, let's just share screen. Is that it? Yes. We go back to that. Most commentators will say that he climbed Mount Carmel way over here. Okay. They're right here. So they would have to be jogging to get to Mount Carmel, to climb Mount Carmel for the Transfiguration. But the highest mountain in the area is right here. Okay. So 6 days later is when he climbs a mountain, a very high mountain. The highest mountain in the area is Mount Hermon, and that's where the Transfiguration happens. Okay, as we talked about earlier, all of the people, including the Jews, when they're talking about the cultures around them, believed that the gods descended on this mountain. And God, the real one, climbs up this mountain and then transfigures there. He's picking a fight with all the so-called gods and saying, here I am, I'm the real thing, What are you going to do about it? Right? He's picking that fight. And I just think that is such an awesome, awesome picture of this is covered in much greater detail in Reversing Hermon from Michael Heiser, but it's also the Orthodox perspective of what's going on with Jesus's ministry and points of what's the transfiguration for and why, where is it at? This is where it's at. And he is talking with Elijah and he's talking with Moses and he is picking a fight with the supernatural realm, the leftover Raphaim, the giant kings. Right? Okay, so
if I just can add one
yeah.
one little thing, we know this, but not everyone knows this. And this was happening above the entrance of the cave that
Yes.
we saw in the previous slide. That was called literally the gates of hell. So when Jesus said that on this church, on this rock, I will build my church, he was, like you said, picking the fight, but showing his spiritual majesty and supremacy over the fallen demon Rephaim, local deities of that time. He was telling them, "Oh, you think this place belongs to Pan and belongs to your local god, Zeus, whatever? I'm gonna build my church on your entrance to Hades, to Sheol, to hell, and I'm gonna show how we will prevail." So I just want to add that because the actual place of the gates of hell, it's not just a word that we can use when we are explaining something or preaching the gospel, but it was the actual location. That's how the entrance of the cave was called. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I think that it's a wonderful picture of what's going on here.